organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up on Daily Iowan TV, the Iowa City landfill is no longer in flames, but it's still burning a hole in the city's pocket. We'll tell you why.
And veterans returning from war often fight new battles when they arrive home. We'll tell you what the university is doing to help combat their new warfare.
And in sports, we're back. Pre-game is set to go in studio, coming up soon.
That's all coming your way next. Daily Iowan TV starts now.
I'm Tom Brokaw. For more than 100 years now, the University of Iowa community has been waking up to the Daily Iowan. Today, it's the largest newsroom in eastern Iowa. And now you can see the news every night on Daily Iowan TV and get it anytime worldwide at dailyiowan.com.
Good evening and welcome to your Thursday edition of Daily Iowan TV. I'm Reed Chandler.
And I'm Muriel Kone.
An Iowa City landlord is being charged with invasion of privacy after he was accused of peeping on his tenants. 63-year-old Iowan Miller was reportedly looking through a hole in his tenant's bathroom ceilings. Police officials said Miller told investigators he peeped into the apartments he owns to watch women take showers. Miller is facing a lone misdemeanor account. The Johnson County Jail released him Thursday after he posted bond.
And Iowa City police officials are still searching for the suspect who allegedly attempted to rob two females late Tuesday night. The UI released a hawk alert late Tuesday evening alerting students of a tall, skinny black male with a bandana over his face. The report stated he was armed with a handgun. A glitch in the system left some of the UI's tweets, webpage, and phone messages incomplete, making students confused. Iowa City Crime Stoppers are now offering a $1,000 reward to anyone with information on the suspect.
And with Veterans Day quickly approaching, some veterans here on the University of Iowa campus are busy studying away. A class called Life After War offers veterans an opportunity to help them adjust to college and civilian life after returning home from war. Some obstacles veterans face when adjusting back into normal life can be post-traumatic stress disorder and substance abuse. The Life After War class gives these students a comfortable environment with peers who know what they are going through. To honor veteran students, this Veterans Day, 200 UI student vets will roll out a large American flag at Kinnick Stadium just before the football game on November 10th.
And now we'll turn to Dora Grote for a look at the weekend weather. Dora, what's in store for the first feel of November?
Well, Muriel, November started out today with a bang. The sun was shining and the temps were in the 60s. But I hope you soaked up that sun because this next week doesn't look quite as promising. Friday morning, the temps will dip down below freezing at 31 degrees with a cloud-covered sky and will only heat up to about 45 degrees. Later that evening, it will remain in the mid-40s. Taking a look at the rest of the week, temps will stay pretty consistent in the upper 40s to the lower 50s. But you might want to pack your umbrella for the week. Saturday through Wednesday, we'll see about a 20% chance of rain. That's all for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
As the race to the White House heats up, the two presidential candidates are adding more fuel to the fire that will burn next Tuesday. Vice President Joe Biden visited Muscatine today to campaign for his boss. The vice president gave a speech, and in it he said Governor Romney is confusing voters just a few more days before they head to the polls. Biden also made an appearance in Davenport earlier in the day and stopped in Fort Dodge following the event. In addition, vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan is scheduled to attend a rally at the University of Northern Iowa on Friday afternoon.
A graduate student union proposed to renew its contract with the University of Iowa Thursday afternoon. The union is called COGS and gave a public presentation to the Board of Regents and bargained for its 9th two-year contract with the University of Iowa. Among other topics, they have proposed increased salaries for graduate students and lowering the high cost of health insurance. The Board of Regents are scheduled to respond to this proposal on November 15th.
In this past summer, the Iowa City landfill broke out in flames in late May and burned until the end of August. The fire spread across about 7.5 acres of land, and now officials are saying the damage is worse than expected. We'll turn to Daily Iowan TV reporter Whitney Blakemore, who was on the scene of the damage.
Over $4 million. That's how much money experts are estimating they will need to fix all the damage that was done to the Iowa City landfill over the summer.
We know that we have to totally replace the landfill liner, which was composed of compacted clay, a flexible membrane, there was a geogrid, there was a drainage layer of the rubber shredded tires on top of that.
The landfill still does not know exactly how much damage has been done since the fire, and tomorrow they are planning on looking at the pipelines underneath as they are afraid that it has been contaminated.
The oil contamination that has reached there, and so we're looking at the extent that we have to excavate and remove that material as well so that we can get everything restored, put back and ready to operate again next year.
While they still do not know the exact cause, they are guessing someone dropped off a load of hot material that eventually caught on fire. Whitney Blakemore, Daily Iowan TV.
Engineers are exploring the damaged pipes this week through underground cameras.
A couple of tough weeks for the Iowa football program means a season on the brink going into this weekend's matchup against the Hoosiers in Bloomington. Can Kirk's crew rebound? Pregame starts now.
Lauren, we are back, and our pregame staff is excited and ready to get you filled in on everything Hawks Hoosiers ahead of this weekend's crucial Big Ten showdown.
That's right, Josh, and what a difference a few weeks make. Heading into November, the Hawks are, at best, a question mark when it comes to making postseason action.
After 2 consecutive Big Ten wins to open play, the Black and Gold have now dropped 2 straight.
So I guess the question on everyone's mind, Josh, is can the Hawks get back on track? We kick our coverage off with a preview from Daily Iowan TV sports reporter Nick Rector.
The Hawkeye football team is on the road again this weekend, taking their talents to Bloomington, Indiana to face off with the Hoosiers. Ferentz's Hawkeyes have beaten Indiana 4 years in a row now, scoring 42 points or more in 3 of those 4 victories. But with half of Iowa's games this season decided by 3 points or less, expect a close matchup in Bloomington on Saturday. Last year, it was Marvin McNutt who stole the show in this game, grabbing 6 receptions for 184 yards and leading the Hawkeyes to a 45-24 victory. But who will step up and make the big plays for Iowa in this year's matchup? Some might say that senior cornerback Micah Hyde is a likely candidate. One of the best cornerbacks in the country, Hyde came up big last week, preventing a Northwestern touchback after an Iowa punt. He also had a fumble recovery. Or what about Damon Bullock? The sophomore running back got back into his groove last week, carrying the ball 22 times for 107 yards. We talk about him a lot, but it's not all about the skill players, though. Saturday's matchup will also feature 2 of the Big Ten's best tackling linemen. Indiana defensive tackle Adam Replogel leads the conference linemen with 6.5 tackles per game.
It's his versatility. I mean, he can get to the quarterback, but at the same time, he can go out wide and make that tackle in open space. He's been with this program for a long time. He's up for many awards, including the Senior Class Award. I mean, he's a really good guy, and he's a really good football player, too.
Iowa's Gallion ranks 2nd with 5.5 tackles per game. Regardless of who steps up, the Hawkeyes need a win this weekend. Otherwise, head coach Kirk Ferentz will have even more questions to answer with the Hawks dropping to 4-5 and dangerously close to missing out on postseason play for the first time in half a decade. Nick Rector, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
We heard him give a little bit of insight to Nick, and now we bring him on for an extended interview in our Daily Iowan TV Sports 2-minute drill. He's Jordan Littman, football beat reporter for the Indiana Daily Student. And Jordan, your Hoosiers have been pretty explosive on offense this far. Who should Hawk fans be worried about come Saturday?
This team is really be bumpy at times, and it'll be interesting to see what happens against Iowa this week. You have Cam Kaufman and Nate Sudfeld at quarterback. Kaufman's a first-year junior college transfer from Arizona Western College, and Sudfeld's a freshman out of Modesto Christian High School in California. And both really have kind of been exchanging reps. Expect Kaufman to start, that's my guess. What they bring to the table is a passing game, and the Hoosiers have really taken advantage of that.
And we know a little bit about the offense, Jordan. Who are some Indiana players having solid seasons, but might be flying a little bit under the radar?
I think if one guy has to be said in particular, it's got to be Jason Spriggs. He's been in one of the most physical forces. True freshman from Elkhart, Indiana. If he has a good game on the offensive line, that could set the tone for the rest of the offensive line. And if IU's other line is doing well, holding up against Iowa's front seven, IU could have a field day on offense. And I think it starts with the O-line for Indiana, and if they can get that going, it'll be a good game for the Hoosiers.
All right, Jordan, we do it every week, so we have to ask, who's coming out on top in this one, Hoosiers or Hawks?
You know, Iowa's been struggling to score on offense. Steven Bullock, maybe in his second game to get back. I don't know how well he does, and I know Mark Weissman's out for Iowa. I'm going to go 34-21 IU over Iowa.
All right, that was Jordan Littman, Indiana football beat reporter from behind enemy lines in Bloomington, Indiana.
We, however, have our own beat reporter, Ben Ross, in the newsroom with Ian Martin standing by.
Ian Martin standing in the Daily Iowa newsroom with Iowa football reporter Ben Ross. And Ben, the Hawkeyes travel to Bloomington this weekend. Iowa's won 6 out of the last 8 against the Hoosiers, but there's been some pretty close ones as of recent.
Yeah, there have been. If you remember last time they were in Bloomington, with just time ending in the game, DeMarlo Boucher for Indiana just dropped the ball, and that's a play you have to come up with every time, Ian.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that Indiana kind of lost that game as opposed to Iowa winning it. As far as this weekend, Iowa's going to be facing another pretty tough offense in Indiana, at least as far as pace is concerned. Is there anything Iowa can do to slow down the Hoosiers?
Well, really, they just got to show up more so than they did last week against Northwestern. Of course, they surrendered over 300 rushing yards for the Wildcat rushing attack last week. And now this week they're facing a very good Indiana offense that's averaging over 400 yards on the ground and in the air.
Yeah, a prolific offense in Bloomington, more so than usual for Indiana. Well, that'll do it for us here in the Daily Iowan newsroom. Make sure you pick up this week's pregame magazine. It's got a pretty interesting story about James Vandenberg and his high school rival and now his wide receiver in Jordan Cotton. I'm Ian Martin for Ben Ross. Back to you guys in the studio.
Well, that's all for us here in pregame.
Don't forget to tune back in this Sunday for in-depth highlights and exclusive interviews from the game.
Go Hawks and beat Indiana.
Thanks, Josh and Lauren. And we'd just like to take a moment to wish Miss Lauren Moss a happy birthday. Today was her 21st birthday.
Yeah, and even on her birthday, she's in here working.
So
yeah.
Happy birthday. And only with Daily Iowan TV can you get a sneak peek at Friday's pages of the Daily Iowan. Read about what Johnson County is doing to put some green back in their checkbook.
And continuing our 5-part series, election series, see how the LGBT community are weighing in on the 2 presidential candidates.
And that's your latest edition of Daily Iowan TV. Be sure to check us out on Sunday at the same time or anytime online at dailyiowan.com.
Thanks for watching and have a great night.